Monday, January 26th edition of the City Council and Hermiston City Council and Urban Renewal Agency. We appear to have a quorum with all members present. I would ask that everybody join me in the flag salute.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, 1, 2, 3, done. Mr. City Manager, do we have any changes to the agenda? Okay, so starting off, citizen input on non-agenda items. Anyone wishing to bring anything before the council that is not on the agenda is asked to do the following. Please limit your comments to not more than 5 minutes. State your name and place of residence and direct your comments to me. Do we have anybody?
I do.
Okay. Looks like you're it.
So anyone can make
Yes.
a non-agenda item. Okay. First, Roy Barron, I want to really thank you for putting up that post about City of Hermiston.
Okay.
I'm going to set the timer. What's that?
Can I have you give your name and your
Oh,
address?
Jonathan Tallman. I live in Boardman, Oregon,
Okay.
and
thank
I'm
you.
here to advocate for the citizens of Hermiston before problems arrive. Okay, just set the timer. You posted, Mr. Barron, which I really appreciate, about the issues advocating for what's happening for Hermiston. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about me. So I'm not talking about the agenda items. I want you guys aware of the Pandora's box that you guys are beginning to open with certain things happening. Okay, so let me speak. So this was his agenda item. I'd like to add that to the record. Okay, here's my response. Okay, thank you for the opportunity to provide public comment about what's happened to me that relates to that. Okay, the RV park. Okay, this is just not oscillation. I understand that there's temporary workforce that is happening. The need is real, and that is additional RV advocate capacity is needed. However, projects are being advanced along major regional industrial growth pressure zones, infrastructure commitments, and public arrangements that deserve full transparency. Have you guys signed a non-disclosure agreement? Who do you represent if you've signed a non-disclosure agreement? Do you represent the people or do you represent the city? This is just a rhetorical thing that I want you guys to be made aware of. By doing these type of things, when you harden these areas in infrastructure, you guys are going through a UGB boundary and a TSP upgrade. You harden the areas as far as corridors. I know that doesn't mean a lot, but it's very layered as far as how you guys get your financing. I've seen it firsthand affect me and my business. Public and private, just like I said, non-disclosure agreements are very important. Water capacity. I really urge you, and I'm going to add this to the record, go to More Perfect Union and watch what's happening in Georgia. When you take from the aquifer, it's very important that you know how much water is in the ground. Right now, it seems great, but you don't know what it's going to be like in 10 to 25 years. If you read the Rolling Stone magazine about Morrow County, you're seeing that circulation that's happening. Not to say that they aren't doing it or adding to the growth, but what it is it's causing on a multiplier scale because of our natural resources. We have a great spot here in right next to the river where we can grab a lot of water, but we have to do it responsibly. Okay, the housing market impacts. I, again, ask that you guys go on to More Perfect Union, watch the Google one about the Hillsborough and then the schools, what it's doing with that. It's driving up rent. So the locals have to compete with the transient workforce. Now, I understand the RV is going to help a little, but what it does is it jacks up prices so that the locals have to compete. I have a duplex. I could rent it out 100 times over. And it's really sad because I try to rent to local people, you know, but at the same time, if someone's going to pay you $100 a day, $3,000 a day for a 2-bedroom, 1 bath, it's really hard as a capitalistic man that I am to turn that away. That's something that you guys have got to think about with this. The RV doesn't do that. It doesn't supply. It's a temporary workforce. Please go onto that More Perfect Union and watch those type of things. The next thing is electrical rates. Here, it's not so bad because we have the co-op, but at the same time, we were in 2019 getting 15% of our energy from the wholesale market, and now we're getting it 40% from the wholesale market. We still had to pay 11% more I shouldn't have to pay. Umatilla Electric had $9 million in the bank in 2019. Now they have over 500 million in cash investments. Please don't take my word for it. Go onto their websites, go on to see. That's investment, okay, that is coming from big corporations that is raising our rates 11%, okay? Or you guys, none of you, if you're representing the people, hopefully not with non-disclosure agreements, okay? You have to wake up to who's really paying those costs, who's actually going into it. Now, I know everybody says, oh, but they pay this, they pay into this. If you go to that Rolling Stones magazine, $2 billion worth of infrastructure needs is what they were getting just from Morrow County. And then we're happy that we get a $175,000 grant from Morrow County and Umatilla. That just seems awful if you're going to go find the percentages of it. Why do we have to take crumbs? We have the resources. If you look at all the areas, and again, go onto Facebook, go on to see these groups that are against it and these More Perfect Union. It has to be done responsible when it takes from our aquifer, when it takes from our river. We can do this in the most appropriate way, but when we don't do it right, the next thing is something very personal to me because it's affected my property. My property got a $30,000 offer, okay? And condemnation happened. They paid me pennies on the dollar for it going through the veins of Boardman. Boardman used to make $20 million. Now they make over $90 million a year. Just real quickly, okay? They say that they follow the code. I'm adding all this to the record. The code shows that they unpermitted use to put a power line, yet they didn't. They put it anyways. They condemned property. Right here, they said it was for residential use. It went directly to an Amazon data center. I have so many customers that come to my coffee shop and say, wait, they're going to eminent domain me on a power line for a data center. What do I do? This right here shows you they say one thing and they do another. The last one is a comprehensive code. They said they had to put them under lines. Do you really think they put them under lines? They went right through my property. And I'm going to say this, okay, because they went through the inside of my property. They didn't go around and they impregnated it and raped it with cement and put cement in it. I can no longer have certified organic on my property because of that. And that is very frustrating. That's why, and again, please forgive me, my passion that I have here. But when it affects you and it affects the people in higher taxes, rates, rental, utilities, these are things that we have to be aware of. And I challenge you to hold yourself accountable and say, you know what? I have signed a non-disclosure. We need to do better. We need to represent the people of Hermiston because the problems that are going to happen in Boardman that are happening right now will affect you guys here very, very, very soon because you're putting that property and that excise tax that you're going to make from the energy fee. It's huge. And again, I'm all for data centers. I'm all for Amazon. I just want it done responsibly without problems for your constituents that you represent. We are in a great opportunity here in Eastern Oregon, and I love working. I would love to sit, if you guys ever come to the Farmers Cup Coffee Shop right here, I would love to sit down and talk to you. I don't mean to be confrontational in any way, shape, or form. I just want everything done responsibly. Thank you so much for listening to me. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
She's the city clerk. You record her.
You guys can put those comment sections on YouTube of those links because those are very important. It's going to happen here in a way that's really going to affect us
Your
all.
time is up.
Thank you. I appreciate it. God bless you.
Anyone else? Okay,
Mr. Mayor,
sir.
you do have a written comment that came in a little bit before the meeting, both at a paper at your place and a email. Just want to notify you of that and make sure that then the person who sent it in knows that we made you aware and that you have a copy of it.
It has been noted. I do have a copy of it in front of me. Thank you. Okay, seeing no other comments for citizen input, we'll move on to the consent agenda. Consent agenda items A and B. Do we have any council questions on consent agenda items A and B? Seeing none. Any public comments on consent agenda items A and B? Also seeing none. Any council comments? Does anybody need to remove any of the items? Seeing none, can I get a motion to approve consent agenda items A and B?
Motion, second.
Let's see, I think I got Ms. Linton for the motion and Counselor Hayward for second. Roll call.
Yes.
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 Motion passes unanimously. No items removed. Moving on to public hearings, comprehensive plan map and zoning map amendment and annexation, 4N2813 TL 1300, Farm City Pro Rodeo, 1835 East Airport Road. Are there any declarations of conflict of interest or ex parte contact from the council?
I'm just gonna throw a potential conflict there.
Okay. Potential conflict. Any others? Okay. Hearing guidelines will now be presented by city staff. Planning Director Clint Spencer. Mr. Spencer.
Thank you. The City Council is holding a hearing to consider a request for a comprehensive plan map and zoning map amendments and annexation to the City of Hermiston. The City Council will consider the request and render a decision based on the criteria established in 15608 and 15005 of the Hermiston Code of Ordinances. The applicant proposes amending the comprehensive plan map and zoning map designation and annexation of approximately 19.5 acres of land located on the north side of East Airport Road, approximately 1,320 feet west of South Ott Road. The applicant is the City of Hermiston. The applicable substantive criteria relied upon by the city in rendering the decision to amend the comprehensive plan map and annex the property are contained in 15608 and 15005 of the Hermiston Code of Ordinances. Testimony and evidence must be directed toward the criteria described above or other criteria in the comprehensive plan and land use regulations, which the person believes apply to the decision. Failure to raise an issue by the close of the hearing at or following the hearing, in person or by letter, precludes appeal to the Land Use Board of Appeals, LUBA, based on that issue. Failure to raise an issue with sufficient specificity to afford the decision maker and the parties an opportunity to respond to that issue precludes appeal to LUBA based on that issue. Failure to raise constitutional or other issues relating to proposed conditions of approval with sufficient specificity to allow the local government or its designee to respond to the issue precludes an action for damages in circuit court. Prior to the conclusion of the evidentiary hearing, any participant may request an opportunity to present additional evidence, arguments, or testimony regarding the application. The City Council shall grant such a request by continuing the public hearing pursuant to ORS 197-797 6B, or leaving the record open for additional written evidence, arguments, or testimony pursuant to ORS 197-797 6C. For this hearing, the process begins with the staff report, followed by testimony from the applicants and any other supporters of the application. This will be followed by opponents of the application. Finally, rebuttal by the applicant will be allowed. The public hearing portion of the procedure will then be closed, and the City Council will consider the information and testimony received, adopt findings of fact, and may render a decision on the comprehensive plan map and zoning map amendments and annexation.
All right. Okay, this hearing is now open. City staff will now present its report. Mr. Spencer.
Thank you. Heather, can you move the mouse over as well? Thank you. Okay, so tonight the city has prepared an application to amend our comprehensive plan map and zoning map for 19.5 acres of land that is on the north side of East Airport Road. This is located directly east of the access road to EOTech and the Heroes Complex. It is currently within our urban growth boundary, but has a comprehensive plan designation of future commercial industrial and a county zoning designation of F1, which is a general farm use designation. We are proposing to amend the comprehensive plan map from that future commercial to urban commercial, which would be an implementation of that future designation, and then annex it to the city as outlying commercial land with a fairgrounds overlay zoning designation. That fairgrounds overlay will allow it to use other development that would be compatible with EOTech. This is basically an EOTech expansion operation. The property is currently owned by the Farm City Pro Rodeo, and the city has been negotiating with Farm City Pro Rodeo for development of an RV park on the south third of this property, the area that's adjacent to Airport Road, for an additional 100 units. And this would be some of the grant work that City Manager Smith had negotiated in 2025. We're proposing annexation of this property so that the property will be eligible to connect to city water and sewer, which is currently developed throughout the EOTech site. As you may remember, it is a prerequisite for receiving any city services that annexation to the city and to be within the city limits is a requirement. So that's why we are proposing that now. The land itself is located in a rural but urbanizing portion of our urban growth boundary. It is currently irrigated agriculture and has a single-family dwelling and outbuildings in the southwest corner. To the east are additional single-family dwellings on both sides of Airport Road. And then as you move to the west, it does start developing commercially. There are also some additional manufactured dwellings along Airport Road. And then to the north is the EOTech site and the airport. The zoning in the area surrounding this is entirely either commercial or future commercial, what we're seeing now. So we are just implementing that. As part of the requirements for amending the comprehensive plan map from future commercial to commercial, we did prepare a traffic report, what we call a trip generation letter. And that looks at the intersections of Ott Road and Airport Road, as well as Highway 395 and Airport Road. And we are proposing, as a result of that trip generation letter, to condition annexation with a trip cap on this site of 645 average daily trips and 107 peak hour PM trips. So any development of an RV park on that would have that condition of approval on it. 107 peak hour trips at 100 unit RV park is entirely doable. It's well within the capability, so we would not be exceeding that trip cap pretty much with any development that may occur on this, whether it be athletic fields, whether it be overflow parking, or even potentially future EOTech buildings in the future. Those should all be able to meet the 645 daily trip cap. So we are recommending that the council approve this annexation. Subsequent to any council approval, it will have to go to Umatilla County for co-adoption of the amendments to the map. As that is County F1 zone now, the county has to consent to those map changes, and we would start that process immediately upon adoption of the ordinances.
Okay. All right, we're at the public testimony part of this. People wishing to speak are asked to state their name, or their mailing address, and limit testimony to 5 minutes. Are there any proponents who wish to speak at this time?
Vikash Narain. My address is 2255 South Highway 395, Hermiston. And I just have a written statement. I don't know if it's going to be related to this, but it's just a statement that I had written for representing all the hotels. So, first of all, my name is Vikash. I'm representing the hotels and motels of Hermiston and Umatilla. And I appreciate the chance to share how the RV park will impact us. And I'll walk you through why this matters for the whole community.
Okay, so before we get started, are you for this or against this or in the middle?
So I'm against this.
Okay, so
Sorry.
not your turn yet then.
Okay. All right. So first, a significant.
So let us get the pros in first, and then we'll come back to you.
Okay, gotcha.
Okay? Thanks. All right. So anybody else that is for this? Okay. Against. Now it's your turn.
Okay, so good evening, council. My name is Vikash. I'm representing the hotels and motels of Hermiston and Umatilla. I appreciate the chance to share how this RV park impacts us, and I'll walk you through why this matters for the whole community. First, a significant portion of our guests are Amazon workers, crews who stay for extended periods. They help us maintain consistent occupancy, particularly during slower times. So if they shift to the RV park, that's a direct reduction in business for us. Second, there's a big tax difference. In hotels, guests pay lodging tax on short stays. But after 30 days, that tax stops. RV parks are the same. So if someone's parked there for months, the city loses lodging taxes because after 30 days, they don't pay that tax anymore. And that's lost revenue for the city. That's lost tax dollars for you guys. The third thing is if we lose occupancy, we have to lower rates to compete. That means less revenue and fewer jobs. Hotels are big local employers. If we lose revenue, we cut hours, and that ripples out fewer wages, less spending at local restaurants and small businesses, affecting the whole economy. Fourth, all of the hotel costs, insurance, utilities, property taxes, franchise fees, etc., are all rising. We are small business owners. Our livelihood depends on our hotel's success. In conclusion, we have to think long term. If hotels and local businesses struggle, it's not good for Hermiston. Amazon will move on, but we need a strong economy after. We want to grow together and not compete against the city. So let's make sure we grow together. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other negative?
I came this evening. Oh, my name is Karen Jones. I live at 1010 West Highland Avenue in Hermiston. I came this evening in support of the hotels and the other business people that are here tonight in opposition. I think he raised excellent points, and I hope that this is something that you'll all consider because this is going to have really long-term, not only short-term, but long-term impacts on their ability to stay in business and potentially our economy also with the lost revenue. Thank you.
Thank you. Any others? Okay, seeing none. Any neutral? Sorry, I should have done neutral in the middle. Seeing none. Okay, this hearing is now closed. City staff will now present finding of facts. Mr. Spencer.
I don't have a lot to present on the findings themselves. You have exhibits A and B to your staff report. There are 10 pages of findings of fact demonstrating compliance with the City of Hermiston Comprehensive Plan and statewide planning goals for the map amendments. There's an additional 4 pages of findings of fact, exhibit B in support of annexation, demonstrating compliance with the Hermiston Code of Ordinances and the state statutes for any annexation that's required.
All right. Okay. Council discussion. Anybody have anything they want to throw out there? Ma'am.
I just have one question. Mr. Spencer, are the entire 19.5 acres, is that going to be used for the 2 RV parks?
No, there is one RV park that is on the EOTech proper site, and then this one is about a third of this lot. So imagine About the south 300 feet or so would be the RV park area, and then the rest will be vacant land.
Okay, thank you.
Any other staff or council questions or discussion? Okay. All right, can I get a motion to adopt the finding of facts?
Motion to adopt the facts.
Second.
Okay, been moved by Counselor Hayward, seconded by Counselor Roberts. Roll call.
Yes.
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 Unanimously in favor. All right, can I get a motion to impose conditions of approval?
Motion to condition approvals.
Second.
Okay, been moved by Counselor Hayward, seconded by Counselor Meyer. Roll call.
Yes.
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 Motion passes unanimously. Next up, ordinances and resolutions. Ordinance 2378, comprehensive plan, map and zoning amendment, Farm City Pro Rodeo 4N 2813 tax lot 1300 at 1835 East Airport Road. Mr. Smith.
Yes, any additional questions related to, first, this ordinance is the plan amendments and the kind of the planning items. The next ordinance will be the annexation. And if nothing, Mr. Tovey wants, your script is a little off on the process.
Okay.
And so we wanted to make sure we go through this, the newer process we're trying to follow on ordinances.
Okay. So are there any council comments? Counselor Roberts.
I just want to say that I appreciate the people who spoke during the hearing because that is not something that I had thought of, was how this might impact the hotels. And I know that we've talked in our goal setting sessions and other work sessions and meetings about helping to support tourism and whatnot. So assuming that this were to pass, it's just incumbent on us to make sure that we continue to figure out how to support the hotels, because that is also important. So even if it does pass, I just wanted to say how much I appreciate and support the hotels as well. So
Okay, before we go any further, anybody else's phones still turned on? Can we please put those on silent? Thanks. All right, other comments? Counselor Hayward.
Just like Josh said, supporting the hotels here locally is top priority too, but I also think this is going to be a big win for Hermiston too, because it's going to allow people during the fair week who come in out of town that's there for all week to be able to have the trailers up there and be able to be there with their livestock and everything more, especially the Farmer City Rodeo, to have those guys actually be up there and stay instead of trying to figure out how to cram all those people in there at the same time. So I think it's a benefit for the community at the same time. I do want to say thank you for the people that spoke up against. Thank you for the city for putting this packet together and everything. Excellent job. Thank you.
Counselor Brown.
I'm inclined to agree with the counselors that have previously spoke with their comments. I also just want to give a thank you also to the Farm City Pro Rodeo, because without that organization facilitating the purchase of property and transferring it over, I don't think this could have happened either. And so they had a very good relationship, I believe, with the property owner, and could better do that versus the city as its own entity. So that's a big shout out to the Farm City Pro Rodeo to be able to make this happen as well. This will also open up a little bit more inventory in our master plan for EOTech to be able to do more things for the community.
And so I do think there are a lot of pros to it. There are a lot of things that we do have to keep a pulse on. And so I agree with the counselor's comments and see what we can do to support our hoteliers in the community.
Mr. McCarthy?
I just want to, maybe Myron or another staff member can um, correct me or answer this question, but the council basically has already had a journey to get to where we are in this, where we basically said we would like to move forward with the development of an RV park with the assistance of funds paid for by Amazon. So that process has already started. Tonight is essentially deciding where that land's going to be and making sure that can happen. Is that a correct statement?
Yeah, I mean, this is taking steps to implement that agreement that the council approved a few months ago.
We're in the middle of the process.
Yes.
Okay.
And initially, we didn't plan that we would need to bring additional land, but this, as we worked through the details, that this became part of the process.
Thank you.
Mr. Linton?
I want to thank the gentleman that came and spoke about the hotels and how it would affect them and their business. And I also would like to just ask a question. Do you know how many RVs are going to be set up, like 10, 20, 30, or?
Well, what I want to clarify what we're doing tonight. So this action is to change some planning amendments and then annex the land into the city in preparation for the development of an RV park. The RV park that will be on this land is approximately 100 spaces. Now, we'll also have another item to talk about some additional RV more related to activities directly on the EOTech campus. And we'll go into that when we get to that agenda item.
Okay, so just one more question. So you said there'll be approximately 100. So that'll be for the AWS people to be able to?
They will have priority to utilize these spaces, yes.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Any other council comments? Councilor Drum?
Yes, I would say thank you to the ones that came and spoke tonight. Know that we heard from the owners of the hotels a few meetings ago. So know that it did not go on deaf ears. We are trying to be responsive to your guys' comments. But as stated, we are way into the process now, but it is a city council goal to continue to keep the hotels in mind, to simply benefit the community as a whole. So I just, as everyone else has stated, I just wanted you to know that we do have you guys in mind.
Councilor Meyer?
And I too appreciate you coming to speak to that. Now, as to it, this won't be only for Amazon. Other people can rent there, but Amazon gets priority. Is that not correct?
That's correct.
Okay.
Councilor Kelso?
I echo the sentiments of the other counselors and appreciating the hoteliers coming tonight to talk, and I understand where you're coming from. I would like to say, even without the development of the RV park, I think that the acquisition of this property and the rezoning for development is a good move and a forward-looking move for our city and ultimately our county. We currently have, I think, the best county fair in the state, and I think one of the best rodeos in the nation. And acquiring land around EOTech to expand our footprint there is a good move, regardless of whether RV parks are placed on that or not. I think that'll benefit the city for the next 30, 40, 50 years and the county. Thank you.
I really can't add anything more to that. You guys have pretty well knocked it out of the park on saying what we need to say, so We'll move on to public comment. Any public comment in regards to the comprehensive plan and zoning map amendment? Seeing none. Mr. Tuvey, you have something to say?
Me off. Or no, there we go. I was being preemptive. and
Oh,
tried to turn it
okay,
on.
all right.
Yes, so Mr. Mayor, at this point, I would, with your consent, read the title of ordinance number 2378. And then at that point, I do have the other language for the potential motion if you would like me to read that for the council.
Would you please, sir?
So at this time, for our first reading of ordinance number 2378, that's an ordinance amending the City of Hermiston Comprehensive Plan map to convert certain lands from urbanizable status to urban status located within the urban growth boundary of the City of Hermiston in accord with the provisions of a Policy 6 in the city's comprehensive plan. And the motion would be, we'd ask that the motion to adopt ordinance number 2378 at a single meeting and become effective 30 days after adoption by the city council.
Do we have such a motion?
Motion to adopt 2378.
Second.
Okay. We have a motion by Counselor Hayward, second by Counselor Meyer. Roll call.
Yes.
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 Motion passes unanimously. That is a motion that would become, now we need to motion to adopt the ordinance, or does that take care of it?
That takes care of it. I would
Okay, so
adopt the ordinance.
this will become 30 days after co-adoption by the Umatilla County Board of Commissioners, correct?
Yes.
All right. All right, so that's that. Okay. Ordinance 2379, annexation, Farm City Pro Rodeo, 4N 2813, tax lot 1300, 1835 East Airport Road, from the public hearing section above. Mr. Smith.
Okay, if we could have, Mr. Tuttle read the title now, and then if there's any, and then we can have the discussion and then, entertain any motion.
Perfect. Mr. Tubby, would you please read the title?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. First reading of ordinance number 2379, an ordinance annexing certain real property abutting East Airport Road, describing said real property, withdrawing said real property from special districts, and designating zoning. Mr. Mayor.
All right, council comments on this. Seeing none. Public comment. Seeing none. I am requesting Mr. Tubby to read his last statement that goes along with this.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The motion would be to adopt ordinance number 2379 at a single meeting and become effective 30 days after adoption by the city council.
So moved.
Second.
Been moved by Counselor McCarthy, seconded by Counselor Hayward, that motion 2379 be adopted and become 30 days, effective 30 days after co-adoption by the City Council and Umatilla County Board of Commissioners, and their ordinance number 2358. Okay. Roll call.
Yes.
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 This one's 2378 or 2379?
Ours is 23.
79.
Okay, thank you. Yes.
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 Motion passes unanimously. Sorry, I'm scratching things, notes here. All right, we're up to resolution 2402, authorizing installation of stop signs. This is something we talked about here on last meeting. Now we're moving forward. Mr. Smith, are we ready to talk about installing stop signs?
Yes, Mr. Morgan.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, members of the council, as you mentioned, this was a topic that we discussed at the last council meeting. So we're requesting authorization to install a couple of stop signs at the intersection of Southeast 8th and Tamarack, as well as installing some additional stop signs at the intersection of Southeast Columbia Drive and Southeast 10th Street. No changes to the intersection at Tamarack and 8th, but at the previous meeting, there was a request to add an additional stop sign to the intersection of Columbia Drive and Southeast 10th in order to make it a full four-way stop. So we went back and reviewed the recommended changes with our traffic engineering folks through Anderson Perry. They were supportive of making that change, so we're bringing it back to you as a four-way stop at that intersection. So with that, we'd ask you to approve Resolution 2402 to improve the changes at both intersections.
Council questions? Seeing none. Public comment? Seeing none. Council comments? Councilor Drum.
I just want to say that this was a result, I believe, from someone making the comment on through the city app, correct?
Correct. The one at Southeast 8th and Tamarack was from a neighbor.
So I appreciate how the city, once again, it's paying off to have the city app so that it's convenient for people to raise concerns, contact the city administration, and also bring to the city's attention the need for some stop signs. So I appreciate the fact that people are using the app. I hope that more people are aware that, it's so convenient. And so I just want to say thank you also for whoever's responsible for looking at the comments that are being made there, because this is a result from that. So I appreciate how responsive the staff has been with, the people's comments. So thank you for that.
Councilor Hayward?
Yeah, I want to say thank you, Mark, and the group that came back with our suggestions on the 10th Avenue Street. And then also, I have to say second on the app, it's a great way for citizens to be able to communicate with your city councilors, to your city, by suggesting stuff that you think you see out there in the community. It's a way you guys can have your voice heard. So I gotta say, whoever did it, thank you for bringing this to our attention.
Any other council comments as related to the stop sign? Seeing none. Can I get a motion to adopt Resolution 2402 and lay upon the record?
So moved.
Second.
Councilor Duran and for motion and Councilor Hayward for second. Roll call.
Yes.
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 It is your government in action. Nice job. All right, motion passes unanimously. Oops, wrong place. Okay. Okay, resolution 2403, adopt revised public works standard and technical specifications drawing standards manual. Mr. Smith.
Yeah, Mr. Morgan.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, members of the council, this is part of a periodic update that we do to our Public Works Standards Manual. So this is a set of documents that we use when folks come in to, say, develop a new subdivision, or they're going to develop a business on, a vacant lot. We refer to these standards, and this is what they, are required to install in terms of public infrastructure, that type of thing. So the periodic portion is that we do hear comments and requests, as we're going throughout the year from either individual developers, from city staff, things. Mainly they're just clarification type of items, but in order to make sure that they become actual city policy, we don't change the city's policy until we update this manual. And so that's what we're bringing forward this evening. I know it's a very thick document, but rather than go through and itemize out every single little change and just address each one of those, we felt that it was best to just simply bring the entire document to you. If you scroll through, you can see all of the recommended changes. I would characterize really all of them as fairly minor changes. And so I didn't want to even pull out just the most important ones because they're all relatively minor revisions. So if any of you have any specific questions about any of those changes, it's in your council packet. So if you wanted to refer to that one and ask a question, I'm happy to answer questions. Other than that, I'd ask you to approve Resolution 2403.
Counselor Kelso.
Yeah, thank you, Mark. On page, sorry, this is going to get into the weeds a bit. On page 346 of the packet, there is a drawing of a gravity sewer main line cleanout, and beside it is a sewer service line cleanout. And the suggestion for improvement on the gravity sewer main line cleanout is to remove the tracer wire. Is that because the tracer wire has not been required in the past and the drawing has been incorrect, or is that because the tracer wire is would now no longer be required after tonight's meeting if we adopt the changes?
Sorry, I go through the HTML version of the packet, so I had to go to the PDF. So you said page 346.
Yeah, sorry,
Yeah,
I'm
I'm
a
on it
PDF
now.
kind of guy.
346? I only see 314.
So sorry, I was
Oh.
going through. Can you repeat the question?
Yeah, figure SSO4. Thanks, Councilor McCarthy. On the left, the gravity sewer mainline cleanout has the suggestion to remove the tracer wire. Is that because after tonight's meeting, if we adopt the changes, the tracer wire will no longer be required? Or is that because the drawing has been in error and the tracer wire has never been required?
The tracer wire has been required in the past, but moving forward, it's become superfluous, and they're recommending that we don't require that of private developers anymore.
Do you know what's caused it to become superfluous?
You know, I'm not sure. Couldn't tell you specifically on that one.
Okay. Thank you.
Seems an important thing though for locating to keep from punching holes in the sewer.
Yeah, I think that was a request from the sewer department staff, so I don't think they have any concerns on the tracer wire for that specifically.
Okay. Well, they're the ones that's got to fix the hole, right?
Yep.
Okay. Counselor Linton.
I just want to say I went through the whole packet and I'm telling you, going through all of that, I was like, geez, Louise. But I came up with a couple of questions and don't mock me. And I had a chance to call City Manager Smith and he answered my questions. So I just wanted to go on record and say, thank you very much.
Okay. Any other council questions? All right. Public comment on our humongous document. All right. Council comments in regards to this. Councilor Roberts.
Just briefly, Mr. Morgan, I appreciate that you included the entire document instead of a summary. I actually like to have an entire document that I can refer to. And while I'm certainly obviously no expert on this stuff as I read through it,
I know.
it is nice to be able to see the actual changes made. So it's my preference, and I just appreciate that.
I too am the same way. Any other council comments? Seeing none. Can I get a motion to adopt resolution 2403 and lay upon the record?
So moved.
Second.
Let's see, I'm gonna give that one to Councilor Linton and
McCarthy.
Councilor McCarthy as the second.
Give him that.
Need a tally mark.
Is that what you're doing?
I should.
Goodness.
Let's keep this on the path, please. Roll call.
Yes.
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 Motion passes unanimously. Resolution 2404, renewal of IGA for IT services with the Oregon Trail Library District. Mr. Smith.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, members of the council, we're in the season, and we're updating our various agreements with the different agencies that we serve IT services to. And so this is the Oregon Trail Library District out of Morrow County. And this basically gives us an extension with 3 additional years plus the ability to continue that on. But it also, the most important thing is it adds a 3% inflationary increase to try to help us keep up with the costs of providing the services without going back and renewing the agreement every year. So this will put them at $23,731 per year. And with that, I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Council questions? Seeing none. Public comment? Seeing none. Council comments? Counselor Kelso.
Yeah, thank you very much. I just wanted to share my appreciation with the city management for setting up this, the IGAs that they have with, especially with the IT department. When you guys went out and formed the IT department several years ago, I think it was great, a great vision to, and a bit of a risk, honestly, to share that cost and hoping we'd have IGAs in place to sort of cover the cost of the people that we have on staff. But it's worked out great, in my opinion, and I just wanted to applaud you for your willingness to do that and your vision. So thank you.
Thank you.
Agreed. Any other council comments? Okay, yeah, I agree with you on that one, Mr. Kelso. That is, the getting that accomplished is a big feather in our cap. Motion to adopt resolution 2404 and lay upon the record.
Motion to adopt.
Moved.
Second. I think
I heard Councilor Duran first and Councilor McCarthy for the second.
Hayward.
Or Councilor Hayward, I mean. I mixed you two up, sorry.
You don't get a mark.
Roll call.
yes.
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 Motion passes unanimously. Next up, North EOTech RV Park Contract Award.
Mr. Mayor, members of the council. So this, like I alluded to earlier, this is talking about, that's not the right one.
I'm just gonna jump in here and say there's a potential conflict for me here on this one.
Okay. No.
Okay, so when a few months ago we came to you to talk about the fact that due to operational concerns from some of our partners at EOTech, putting both kind of our event camping area and the Amazon-related spaces in the same location caused some operational challenges for our partners, and so we went into splitting that so that the event camping related location, and that's what we're showing up on the screen right now. If you notice there's the barns are up there in the upper left-hand corner. So this is really where the RV spaces have always been allocated in the EOTech master plan. And so these spaces would, they're directly designed to assist the fair in their efforts to have the families that are caring for animals and so forth at the fairgrounds during the fair have spaces to camp. And then they'll also be used for event-related or events that might have camping, folks who are camping in relation to those events. And so since we had to split it, this project is the most time-sensitive because we want to try to build it and have it complete before the fair begins next year. And so we went forward more quickly with this design. And so before you is the bids to construct what's up there right there. And you can see we had a lot of good bidders responding, so that was great. I think for the price, we're well under our engineer's estimate for the project. And so what we're asking for tonight is the approval of Big D's excavation and the 3.9 million as the price. And with that, I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Council questions? Councilor Brown.
So I have maybe a couple questions. So if
That's fine.
if anybody else has any others, please jump in. Some of them are going to maybe be leading questions, but my first question really is, as a process of the city, when we go out for a bid and do this kind of project, Mr. Smith, usually we have to go with, not usually, but we have to go with the lowest bidder. Is that not right?
We have to go with the lowest responsible bidder, and so sometimes there may be circumstances where the lowest price might not be a responsible bidder.
Okay.
So we can, but we do have to make justification if we do not go with the lowest bidder.
Thank you for that clarification. I guess I really like this project and I like everything that we're doing about this. The only thing that I feel like would make this even more beneficial, I feel like to the city or to constituents, would be if we could actually pick uh, the construction agency from being locally, because Amazon is going to pay for both of these RV parks. And I would feel great if we could pick something underneath the engineer's estimate that would be something more local. But I don't know if that's within our power to do that. Is that right?
We would, I mean, short of having very specific reasons, we would not be able to do that.
Right.
And I would remind you that Amazon committed a certain dollar amount. We need to stay under that. So I would hesitate to take anything but that lowest number.
I understand. This is about $2 million underneath the engineer's estimate. I think the allocation was about $8 or $9 million. So I'm just kind of throwing that out. A lot of this is purely theory. I know how the city operates in terms of how we have to pick certain projects or certain people that go out to bid, but that's the only thing that would make it a little bit more sweeter for me. But that's just something that I've thought about, and I just kind of wanted to put it out there. I think the city is trying in every way that we can to try to do that. I wish it's something that we could do, but this is just something that's not really underneath our authority. But people wonder why at times why we can't do that. And so I think I've gone on the record and mentioned that before, that this is the process that we have to follow. But this is just another one because it's a very special circumstances of how we're going to do this that I thought would be a great opportunity, but I understand the process that we follow.
Thank you.
Councilor Hayward?
The one question I have is, will all these RVs have power and water?
Yeah, every one of these spaces has power, water, and sewer.
Okay, then to take care of the grass when everybody leaves, we'll be using canal water to do that?
Yeah, whatever is, we may not have a lot of grass in that area. It might be more xeriscape rock, so it's easier to maintain.
Okay, thank you.
Councilor Meyer?
There is adequate parking for all of these spaces, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
And, you know, the way the fair does this, they kind of cram those RVs in there. They can get almost double the amount of what the spaces are in that space.
But there are double the spaces for parking too, right? Or not?
What do you mean for parking?
Well, I guess there aren't cars there.
Right. So because of the circumstances of the fair, the cars get parked in another parking lot.
Okay.
This will be for the RV.
This is just for the RVs.
Okay.
Other
you.
questions? Councilor Kelso?
Yeah, so the engineer's estimate of 5.8 million essentially was about 30% higher than what our winning bid came in. $2 million. Does that give anybody pause? Is that a cause for concern or?
Well, I mean, it does give a little bit of concern. I've talked with Anderson Perry about it. There were some unknowns for them that they weren't sure of, and so they kind of walk a fine line of where to put that estimate. So they went a little bit more conservative on this one in particular.
Okay, thank you.
They're a lot more confident in the responses because of how grouped they are to show the actual costs of the construction. So that's another thing they pointed out.
I guess a follow-on question then would be, do we have any prior experience with the winner, Big D's excavation?
Yeah, actually Big D's did the dirt work and all the related parking and alley work around City Hall.
Oh.
They're out of the Tri-Cities. is where they're at.
Would you characterize the job that they did as adequate?
Adequate.
Thank you.
Other questions? Counselor Roberts?
This is half of the $8 million project essentially. And we are right at 3.9 million, and that's to get us done here in 2026. We anticipate that the second half, especially with inflationary costs, even at 3%, that, that could go up. Are we at risk of going over that 8 million for the second half?
We're always at risk.
Okay.
It won't be a big delay. I anticipate within 2 months potentially of bringing contract before you for the second phase of this. So hopefully not a lot of inflation in those two months, but you never know.
Okay. And then quick follow-up. This is just more of on the drawing itself. Is the RV park going to be inside the fenced area then, or how's that going to work?
Part of this project will extend the fence and put it out on Ott Road.
Okay.
Instead of where it has been.
Are
It will all be fenced.
Are we concerned during fair about traffic then on Ott Road at all, and how that's going to impact?
We've tried to work with the fair on, all of the, how they would bring vehicles in and stack them. We think there's enough room along that road that runs along the north side of this drawing to stack the RVs as they come in and they get parked. So we feel pretty comfortable. There's not a lot of in and out during the fair. So it's mostly just when they're coming in is the most difficult.
And you know why I'm asking that, so.
Any other questions? Counselor Linton?
I too had a concern with the $2 million difference there. And my question is, if it does go over with the second half, will Amazon pay more than the 8 million? Say it went over extra 500,000, that's a guesstimation.
We haven't had that conversation with them yet. I'm hopeful, but I can't say yes or no on that.
Thank you.
Other questions? So this is going to be the opposite end of where they've been doing the campers.
Right. The campers have always been on the other side of the barns. Now, and there may be a few still left there, but most of the camping will move here.
And for, lost track where I'm gonna go with this. This is not gonna be basically open for year-round use. This is gonna be event,
This will be event
basically
only.
event-only spaces.
Yeah, I mean, if for any reason we had to take down spaces in the other park where, say, 10 of them were not available because of repairs or something, we might use these for that short amount of time, but not ongoing.
Okay. And you said that there's gonna be parking for the vehicles that pull the campers in elsewhere.
For
Events.
the fair, when there's so many, if we were to fill it up, we would do the same thing on another event. We don't have any other events right now that would max out that space.
Like the airport.
Yeah,
the airport.
the airport
area.
corner has been where those cars have gone.
Okay. All right. Any public comment? Seeing none. Council comment? All right. Can I get a motion to adopt Resolution 2405 and lay upon the record?
Motion to adopt?
Second.
Been moved by Counselor Hayward, second by Counselor McCarthy. Roll call.
Yes.
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 No.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Motion passes 7-1 with Counselor Linton in against. Yes, what she said. All right. Next up, discussion of potential code amendments relating temporary food vendors. Mr. Smith.
Yeah, Mr. Mayor, members of the council. So we have been working for a few months on some potential changes to address the um, activity that we've seen with some food vendors that might not have been following all the rules, and then some other vendors that concerns came before you a few months ago related to that. So I'm going to ask Mr. Spencer to kind of walk you through what we've put together, and then we're tonight looking for your feedback and input. This isn't for adoption tonight, and then we'll follow your lead. If you seem comfortable with it, we'll bring it back for formal adoption.
Mr. Spencer?
Yeah, tonight we just wanted to bring before the council some potential amendments to our nuisance code. These are not amendments that we'd be looking at in our mobile food vending code. That's actually working pretty well as far as regulating and permitting the food trucks in the various locations in town. But you may remember last summer that we had a lot of issues that were arising and complaints to code enforcement, complaints at council meetings, as well as complaints on social media about vendors that were setting up on a temporary basis in parking lots, sometimes even on the street. And you may have seen an article in the Tri-City Herald back in October about this, that the Tri-Cities was dealing with it, and this was actually a regional issue that sprung up unexpectedly during the summer, where everywhere from Seattle all down the I-80 to I-90 corridor in all the cities and down into Hermiston. I was in Klamath Falls last summer and saw similar operations where they were bringing food that had been prepared off-site, vending from a temporary location, and operating through the night, clearing out about midnight or so. And due to the nature of our regulations, it kind of neatly fit into a hole in our codes. And so it wasn't really possible to use our mobile vending licensing as any kind of enforcement mechanism. And we had been talking with county health, PD, code enforcement, city attorney, even looking at other cities too, trying to see, how do we patch this hole in our thing that has the potential to create an immediate public health issue if you have uninspected food, unlicensed food handlers, improper food storage. Just using our mobile vending code, it doesn't address the immediate public health need. So we kind of looked at what other cities were doing as well as what our end goal was, City Attorney Tovey and I, as far as giving an immediate ability for enforcement when we see unsafe food activities occurring. And so we drafted up this ordinance, which does two things. It adds into the nuisance code that unpermitted food is an immediate threat to public health and can be cited on the spot or even closed down if it's determined that whatever is going on is egregious enough that needs to be immediately handled. The code enforcement and or PD can do that in an after hours situation. It also brings in the ability to cite property owners. Right now, if you were going to cite, say somebody set up a food truck on a lot without any permitting, under our current, you could cite just the food truck itself, but by bringing it into the nuisance code, we also have the ability to enforce with the underlying landowner if they are allowing something that is egregious and a danger to public health to continue. So really, that's the two things, is that it gives the city the ability to request immediate presentation of all licenses, especially the food handling ones. The county health inspects everything, and if it is not being inspected, then that would be deemed to be an emergency. And the ability to enforce nuisance on property owners as well if they are letting their property be used in an unsafe manner. City Attorney Tovey, do you have anything you would like to add?
I shook my head no, and then I turned on my microphone. No, that's exactly right, what Mr. Spencer is saying. We just wanted to try to put something together that our code enforcement could use, our police department could use, something
that was clear enough that when they're out talking with folks, one, that they could either educate, or two, if it's necessary, to cite or shut down. And so those are just kind of some of the resources we're trying to give folks as we've been hearing these complaints.
Okay. Council questions? Council Kelso.
Yeah, thank you. On the last paragraph of the staff report, the first page of the staff report, which is page 379 in the packet for you folks, it says, as with other mobile vending code requirements, these restrictions apply only to vendors preparing food in the field. So if I make my food at home and bring it out and sell it on the side of the road, as I've seen done, do these rules not apply?
No, that would still apply, because anytime you're preparing food, whether it's, if you're preparing food in any way, shape, or form, it has to be in an inspected kitchen, and then it has to be, go through all of the proper health certifications for how you're storing it. So yes, that is one of the complaints that we have had, is people who are selling food out of their cars, for instance, and they just have a cooler
I've seen
that's keeping stuff warm. That is prepared and requires it. When we say prepared in the field, that means basically prepackaged. So Girl Scout cookies, if I'm got a push cart with Snickers bars on it, those are all prepackaged. Those are still exempt. But anytime, as soon as you cut into anything, whether it be a piece of fruit, whether it be opening a Snickers bar before I hand it to you, it at that point requires a food handler certificate and inspection.
So if I'm selling cherries that I've picked in Ziploc bags on the side of the road, is that prepared food, or is that?
That would not be prepared food, because that's an agricultural product.
Okay. Thank you.
Sir Hayward?
On that note too, let's say a little girl or a young boy decide to do a lemonade stand. Does this pay to them?
That is why we have in the code, because we don't want to be discouraging of small business or learning capitalism, I guess. And so it's always in the code that we have drafted up, it's left to the discretion of the enforcement, whether or not something like that constitutes a public health emergency. Because yeah, a kid selling Kool-Aid because their parents are having a garage sale is very different than a for-profit operation selling something out of a cooler in the back of their car.
No,
So there's a discretion there written into it.
No, thank you.
Councilor Linton?
I would like to know if fines are going to be put into this as well. Like how much would it be if you go out? Because these are adults, they know what they're doing. They know that they haven't gotten licensed, they haven't gone through the health inspection, and they're making money to live, or whatever reason they're doing it. And they're going out at midnight, as someone has come in and said. So is there going to be put into the document, $500 first offense, or second $1,000?
Let me turn that over to City Attorney Tubby, because we do have Class A and Class B violations that we're proposing, but I'm not familiar with what those dollar amounts are.
Thank you.
But again, what we've put out is just a proposed draft, and so things can change depending on input. But right now, a violation of this nuisance code would be an A violation. And I was pointing at Ms. Viles, because I can never remember what the dollar amount on the A violation is. but that
440. 440 is the presumptive fine.
Is the presumptive fine, so $440.
Okay, so my follow-up question then would be, can it be raised higher if we voted to make it say for instance, $1,000?
Yeah. Are we limited, Mr. Tubby, in following those class violations in municipal enforcement?
Somewhat. So the A violation, again, does have a maximum fine amount. And I'm looking at Ms. Viles again, which I can't remember what we have set. I apologize to the council. I don't dig into the dollar amounts too often, except for
No problem.
when we need some of these presumptives.
While she's looking that up, Counselor.
Thank you. I just think it's important to recognize that all we're trying to do right now is to direct staff to prepare an ordinance for adoption. So I think some of these questions could potentially be presented to us when that ordinance is presented. And we could just say, hey, can we motion to move forward with this? And then we'd know what the knowledge of those fees were once we actually have it up for consideration for adoption. Because all we're doing right now is telling them to write something.
So, and the Class A violation is $2,000. So that's the maximum.
The maximum you said?
Correct.
Counselor Brown?
I'm just gonna give my opinion on this. I mean, that's kind of what was asked of us, and so I think I fall a little bit on the other side of kind of where a lot of the comments have been heading towards. Not because I don't value public health or anything like that. I think that is very important. I don't think it is very appropriate to levy huge fines against a lady that might be selling tamales out of the back of her car. I don't think that's appropriate at all. And just to be also frank, like, the food vendors that have been popping up around town are extremely popular. And so I say that not because that's going to override, obviously, anything that comes with public health, that's going to come first. But I really want us to stress more of an attitude of collaboration with what these vendors are. I'm presuming a lot of these vendors probably don't speak English. And so I I would like us to try to meet them a little bit more in the middle. I have spoken to city staff in the past when this has come up, so I'm not saying this out loud, implying that there hasn't been a conversation about this, or I haven't heard from city staff hearing that they are trying, but I do think that we need to try harder. I do think that we need to send someone that might be bilingual that can actually communicate with some of these vendors. I do think we need to work on the education before enforcement. Now, I'm also presuming that if the city has brought it forward to us, it's because there has been a lot of education attempts. So I don't think that this is coming up for nothing, but expressing my opinion, I don't want us to be very hard on mobile food vendors like that. I don't think that's right, honestly. I think regulation and enforcement is important, but we have to do other means of trying to work together and collaborate with these other entities. So I just, I guess in terms of how strong some of this language is and just the discussion of levying up the fines and the fees and the punishments, I'm not really in favor of that. Is there a consequence to someone that continues to over and over again, or maybe purposefully does not want any of these licenses? Yes. But if there's someone that's having maybe a difficult time trying to attain these licenses or doesn't really understand, I think that's where we need to do a little bit more, and maybe it's more education that might be needed. But I think we should try to take a step forward and try to meet them in the middle. And again, I'm not saying that I don't think that the city hasn't done that. My opinion is I think we need to be a lot stronger in the communication aspect versus bringing in the hammer.
Is there a question in there somewhere?
That was my opinion.
Because we're on
because-
questions right now.
Okay, well, that's my opinion.
My question is, and this is not anything new, because I also kind of had some suggestions. My question would be, would it be appropriate, sort of like what was done with the recycling rates? Would it be appropriate for us to host like a work session type of a thing where we let people know that the discussion will be on this particular topic, so that a staff member can present this information and mention what the requirements might be, mention what, the citation might be, so that they have an opportunity to listen to the information besides also, I think a lot of the vendors that we see are Spanish speakers. So I think it would greatly benefit if we could have this information in Spanish too. If it can't, I'd be more than happy to, if a session is able to take place, to interpret, for a staff member. Because I think this will greatly impact our Spanish speakers. So do you know whether that would be an appropriate thing or?
Well, yeah, Counselor Drawn and the rest of the council, I think we've shown a very strong effort to educate and work with and not be a hammer. And so, yeah, we will do all that we can to educate, and we'll do all that we can to make sure that they know that they can come and hear, and that, we can provide translation and all those other things. Absolutely. We don't see a lot of turnout when we do that. So we'll do our best and try to get the word out. And then to Councilor Barone's concerns, we did try last summer a lot of education with some of, and this wasn't the person selling tamales out of the back of their car. This was somebody, a highly organized business that was operating, and they were ignoring on purpose our rules. And so, we tried to work with them, talk with them in various locations. They were in various places around the city. And so but I'm not saying that we're automatically going to go to the highest fine on those either. But I think we need to have that kind of option for whoever, code enforcement, other officers, to be able to have that tool in their tool belt. But I know that I trust our officers. They do a good job of working with people and trying to help them understand the rules before they drop a hammer.
Other council questions? Councilor Roberts?
You mentioned earlier about prepared food. Does that include I've seen people selling like strawberries and oranges and things like that. Where does that fall in this kind of?
That's exempt.
That's exempt, okay.
With those, and we do receive complaints about some of those sales, and if they're on private property, that's a completely exempt activity. When they are selling from a sidewalk, we have a different code that actually is prohibited to vend from a public right-of-way at all. And so code enforcement had been doing some education last summer on that you need to be on private property.
Perfect, and that was my follow-up question, is if they're on public way. I saw a vendor at 4th and Jenny, for instance, which is, I think, a dangerous intersection to have people pulled over. So kind of time, place, and manner type issues. We do have that in our code already.
Yes.
Okay.
Questions? Any others? Okay, public comment.
Karen Jones. My one question is, I know a lot of people who have in-house small baking businesses. Will that impact them, since in Oregon that's allowed as long as their annual revenue doesn't go over $50,000?
We don't regulate internal kitchens at all. If they have an online business or something like that.
But when they sell it at like Maxwell Center and different things,
No.
they're exempt?
No.
Okay.
This is somebody who is setting up, in a parking lot, not as part of an event with prepared food. And
Okay.
that is actually, there could be a situation where somebody, sets up at Safeway and just has a table of biscuits or something. And yeah, you have to have your kitchen inspected by the Oregon Department of Agriculture to do that.
Okay, thank you. I was just wondering about that. Also appreciated Commissioner Barone's comments. I share a lot of those concerns. Thank you.
Other questions? I have one. You speak of, outside exterior type thing. I know that Safeway does barbecues out in their parking lot from time to time. Where would that fall in something like
That would most likely already be permitted, because that would be a temporary event, which would be exempt from mobile vending. But anybody who's working at Safeway and, doing a barbecue or something like that is going to have their food handler's certificate, and the county health department will have come in, so they'll have the necessary paperwork.
Okay, perfect. All right, council comments. Ms. Hayward.
I did get a lot of complaints from citizens out there about this, and I'm glad that the city is doing something about this. I know one fact that one citizen brought to my attention, one person was selling raw meat out of their truck, not even refrigerated, and didn't even know the rules on that. Brought attention. I was like, really? So I'm kind of glad that we're looking at this. I do think public safety for food should be a good thing that we're looking at.
Council Roberts.
I also greatly appreciate entrepreneurs and people wanting to make money supply for their families. But we do have to do it in a safe way and make sure that that everything is above board. Other businesses have to meet certain standards, and at the end of the day, they're operating a business to make money, and they should have to meet certain standards. And that's all this is, in my opinion, is not saying they can't do it, not saying they shouldn't do it, not saying that customers shouldn't go buy their food. It's probably wonderful food, but we need to have a standard. And when they don't meet that standard, we have to have some mechanism to hold them accountable. Because if we don't have a measuring point for them to meet, there is no halfway that we can meet them if we don't identify what that standard is. And so, in my opinion, that's what we're doing is we're just setting the standard that we expect for these businesses.
Ms. Linton.
I want to say that I did barbecue sales. I had to go through, use a commercial kitchen. I had to be inspected to make sure that everything was lined up for safety reasons, health reasons, because if it's not, somebody can get botulism, get sick, and things like that. And because you don't speak English in a country that's the language is English, doesn't mean you should be exempt and be able to not go by the rules. And I think that the effort has been made, has been said, to let people know that. And if you're coming out at the midnight, most likely you know you're avoiding all of that, and that's a deliberate act, in my opinion. I think that as a capitalist country, we should be able to have businesses and to make money, but then we all should have to follow the same rules, not exception for you because you speak an Egyptian language or any other type of language, but we all have, every country has rules. And if we go to their country, we're gonna have to follow their rules. I almost got stuck in the country because I missed following the rule. So everybody has rules, and so it should apply equitably to all people.
Council Brown.
One of the reasons I really do appreciate this country is it is a country of laws, and it's a country of law and order. It's got rules and it's got accountability. But one of the things that I know, being maybe one of few people up here on this dais, is being a child of immigrants, is growing up not knowing the language. And obviously everybody needs to try to figure it out. But when you are someone that doesn't understand the language, you come culturally maybe from another country, and that's typically how things are practiced. It's going to be education that needs to happen. And again, I'm not saying that people don't deserve consequences for habitually breaking the rules. I think that is important. But I think what needs to be understood too is we need to try to meet our community where they're at. It doesn't matter if they speak English, Spanish, or whatever. We try to meet them where they're at because they are our community members. And so I just want to just reiterate that because I don't want to come from a forceful point of view on this issue. And I appreciate the city manager sharing his comments because him and I have had discussions about this already. And I do know that they have tried on their end. I just really want to fiercely, stand for what I believe in when it comes to this. And I'm like Councilor Duran, where I would have a conversation with these entities just to make things work out or help out. If they do want to receive a license and they do want that help, great. But if they are trying to evade, accountability, then we do need to enforce, they do need to be held accountable. And I completely agree with it. It's just the ones that I feel are the ones that need to be educated on this matter. And so that's my opinion on this matter.
Any others? I guess it's my turn. So this, in doing this, our primary purpose is public safety. We're looking to create a level of public safety and be able to have a mechanism, as Councilor Roberts most mentioned, a mechanism to enforce that public safety. And the whole idea behind this is not to shut down the entrepreneur or anything like that. The whole idea behind this is to give the enforcement side the actual tools to be able to do their job, to protect our safety. And in doing so, the other side of this one, and Mr. Smith and I have had conversations about this one also, is that, if we do nothing, then, and we're giving tacit approval, and then we have somebody that gets sick because we didn't enforce, or we didn't have rules, we chose not to create some method of being able to have enforceable rules. If we don't do that, we put ourselves into a position of liability, and then we start worrying about how many zeros has to be put on a check. And I would just as soon not to do that. Take the time to craft this properly, make it in such a fashion that it gives our officers the opportunity to use their discretion, use education prior to doing any type of serious enforcement. I mean, like, we've had the vendors in the past that they're, they thumb their noses at our authority because we did not have authority to use. And so by doing this particular action, by moving this forward, I think we will be putting ourselves into a better position to keep our citizens safe, to give our officers the tools that they need to enforce that safety. And I think this is an important thing for us to look at and to move forward. So we've already had public comment.
Okay.
You guys want to give somebody a public chance?
Yes.
Okay, come on forward.
My name is Yesenia Rangel. I live at 1655 Southwest River Hill Drive in Hermiston. I came here about a year ago because I make fresh salsa, and I live in Hermiston, and I met with the Oregon Department of Agriculture a year, about 18 months ago, trying to figure out why I have to go to a different state, because my sales are in Richland, Washington, because they have commissary kitchens. Not like, I mean, it's very selective in Hermiston. I haven't had as much opportunity in Hermiston like I do in Benton County, Washington. So their suggestion was to get my home approved, like as a commissary kitchen. Can you bring it? Oh, okay. So yes, the Oregon Department of Agriculture suggested me getting approved, get my home kitchen approved, but my home kitchen is very, very small for as much salsa that I make. But I'm trying to learn. I live in Umatilla County. I'm trying to figure out how I can grow in my own state, county, neighborhood. Regarding the food trucks, my uncle doesn't know. I mean, it just came to my mind listening to everybody's comments. I do remember that article that you mentioned about Tri-Cities. And so one of the notes that I remember from that article is that they noticed consistency, like from here to Seattle, because, I feel like a lot of the pop-ups around the area, they're not from here. They're travelers, because they saw those consistencies, they saw the consistencies in the staff and operations, and failure to cooperate. So I feel like because of that, Hermiston residents are impacted, which I don't feel like that's fair. But the language barrier, like that has been mentioned, can be a factor. My uncle, like I mentioned, my uncle doesn't know that I'm speaking, but I would like to speak. My uncle owns Tacos Paricutin, that's been in business for over 30 years. And he has mentioned, I mean, obviously, he's been able to stay in compliance for over 30 years, but every year, it's harder and harder and more expensive. And we have pop-ups that are uncontrollable, but are they paying the fines? I mean, the permits, are they being inspected? I mean, there is, it's just not consistent or fair. But the language barrier, his language barrier, he doesn't speak very fluent English, but he has been able to maintain his business in perfect standing, obviously, because all those records can be public, but it can be done. But my question is, how can the city or the county support small businesses that don't know? I know, I mean, I'm trying to learn and I still can't establish myself here. And I'm fluent in both languages. So there's a struggle. There's a gap between the county, the state, and the community. And like it was mentioned earlier, these pop-ups are very popular. So there is a need, there is a preference. They could have, the customer can choose to go there or choose to go and be a customer at Nuki's. That's the customer's choice. I mean, we can't control that, but it is very popular, but I'm not sure. I'm trying to learn how how the county, or have a suggestion how the county and the state can be supportive to people that want to learn entrepreneurship or want to offer a product that they believe in.
Well, I don't have the
Yeah.
answer to give you. There
That's-
isn't an answer at this point in time. But, you know, we're always looking for ways. And again, what we're talking about here today is not we're not looking to shut things down. We're looking to make things safe and to deal with the ones, like you said, the ones that are taking away from the other businesses because they don't feel like they have to follow the rules, or they may not know the rules. And the whole part of this is to be able to, you know, we can provide them with the proper instruction, proper education for what they need to do. But if they choose to go against that, then we need to have the ability to say, now wait, this guy over here is doing it right. This guy over here is doing it right. You're choosing not to. So yeah, we're going to write you $400 ticket, or, you know, whatever the case may be. But it's not, you know, the whole idea is not to be the hammer first. It's the education piece. You know, Chief Hermiston has made a huge thing over the years that, you know, his primary deal in everything that they do is the education first, prior to, and then the enforcement.
Yes, and I clearly understand that, the food safety for the public, that's very understandable. My confusion is, why is it getting harder and harder and more expensive? Obviously, as time goes, rates are gonna go up, that's logic. But if a business has been standing for over 30 years, why is it getting harder? That's just my confusion. Thank you.
Appreciate it. All right. So we have no actions to take on this. This is just a section, or do we have,
Well, I mean, what we
we
would,
we can come up with you need a consensus of us, or what is it? You need?
yeah, I mean, we'd be looking at, is there any changes that you'd like to see? Is this something, is it in the general form that you'd like to see? And then we can bring it back more in a formalized format to be adopted.
Council, sir.
I am largely satisfied with the information as it's been presented, but I think staff now has some additional information based on council comments to come back with a formal presentation at a future meeting.
Well, I mean, I'll share with you, I mean, my feeling from the discussion is there wasn't a lot of change. Now, we're going to work hard at trying to do some of the things that have been suggested, but that really isn't in the language that's been presented. So, but I'm just making sure that we don't miss anything that people want to see, but we will try to do a good job of reaching out and letting people know of what we're talking about and giving them an opportunity to comment and be a part of it. And then also working on the way we move forward with the enforcement.
Final product.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, I agree.
Everybody good with that?
Yep.
Looks
Okay.
like you got your marching orders on
All
that
right.
one, sir.
Thank you very much.
All right, December 2025 monthly financial report.
Yeah, Mr. Palacios.
Oh, sorry, Mr. Place.
Good evening. Mr. Mayor, I have for you tonight the December 2025 monthly financial reports. Oops. So first up is we are 50% of the way through the fiscal year for 2025-2026. Hermiston Urban Renewal Agency. I would like to point out in the URA, our property taxes came in at approximately $504,000 for the year through the end of December. We budgeted 312, and the only reason I'm mentioning that is because we budget those on a historical level because we have no idea what the assessed value is going to be depending on what the assessor comes up with because it is an urban renewal agency. The only other comment I have is we are still waiting on the anticipated bidding where that's supposed to say spring. I didn't change it on here, but I did change it in the report packet. Yes, sir.
Oh, well, that's really good news, I guess. My question on that was there an addition? I know you said like an appraiser can appraise whatever it might be, but was there any new buildings or any new businesses that kind of would make that appraised value go up, or was it just higher than what we anticipated?
I'm going to pass the buck on that one, Mr. Spencer.
I'm not aware of anything in the downtown area that has increased significantly in value. I do, however, know that right now the county is going through a reassessment process that they did starting last year. So it would not surprise me if some of the properties have just been reappraised in that intervening time. And so what we always do in the urban renewal district, because of the uncertainty going forward and we don't want to over budget, is we set this year's forecasted revenues to be the actual revenues that came in the year prior. So each year we look at, okay, we thought we would get 400,000 last year and we got 475,000. We'll set this year's expected revenues at 475,000. So that's how we do that. And it just came in a lot higher this year.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Spencer. As I pointed out, we are 6 months into the fiscal year. Monthly revenues ended over projection by about $1.7 million. Again, this is going back to the URA comments. This is primarily due to the receipt of property taxes. We get the bulk of those in November and December. As of the end of December, we had received 98% of the budgeted property taxes, which approximates the past 3 fiscal years, which averaged 96%. So it varies anywhere from that 96 to 98%. Historically, as you can see, 98, 94, and 97. So we're right in there. Monthly expenses were over projection by $877,000. This is still from the effect of the setting up the new building fund, the new building inspection fund that we transferred at the beginning of the fiscal year in July of $2.7 million. City council non-departmental are over budget due to the annual LLC membership, and then that transfer that I just mentioned. Pool and Public Safety Center are over budget due to seasonal activities, and then in the single-time purchases for the PD building, some furnishings, things like that the chief is paying for from out of from out of that budget. We anticipate that that should drop back under as we move through the rest of the fiscal year. Special revenues funds, EOTech, we have collected our first reimbursement payment for the campground project, which was spoken about earlier. That's a little over $1 million so far that we've collected, and that is reflected in the budget to actual report that was provided. For the utility and street funds, we are currently $77,000 below projected revenues. This is due to federal gas tax turnovers, which are just on an annual basis. We should be getting those either in this month or February, typically is the timing of those when we collect those funds. HES fund expenditures, those were $75,000 over projections. This is due to the annual debt service that we pay on an annual basis. Regional Water Fund, just one comment for that, we were about $54,000 under revenue projections. This was due to one of the customers had an unanticipated equipment repair, so they shut down their water usage for a period of time, and so that dropped those revenues. And speaking to the water department, we do anticipate that to smooth out before the end of the year, but we'll keep an eye on that one. With that, I will turn it over to Mr. Morgan for capital projects update.
Yes, single biggest thing to report on capital projects is we have a new capital projects manager, so that's really exciting. And I introduced him last council meeting, so hopefully we'll start getting some updates from him. But it's been good having him get on board and start to get familiar with a lot of these projects. So the Gear and Harper realignment project, it's fully rocking and rolling. So I think we anticipate bringing we'll put it out to bid here shortly and should bring a contract award sometime probably early April to the council. So then we'll be into construction throughout the summer and fall on that project. So North First Place project, continue to have discussions with Union Pacific on right-of-way acquisition. Our regional water system backup generators still in design. We just got some good news from the federal government, though. They are awarding us $665,000 to cover all of the cost of that project. So that's good. Once that project is designed, we'll put it out to bid, and it'll still be quite a while because the current lead time on those generators is nearly a year from the time you order them. So that's just going to be a long project. The Orchard Avenue water line replacement, we're moving along, should be putting that out to bid here shortly. Again, also probably bringing that to council for award sometime in March. And then we'll be into actual construction late spring, summer, and fall. Well 6 chlorination structure designs getting close to putting out to bid. Dogwood, and really that should be Dogwood and Northwest 2nd Street because those designs with the local improvement district up in that area are moving forward concurrently. So that design continues to move along. Again, should be bringing that to council for a contract award here in the coming months. Southeast 10th Street Bridge, that design continues to move along. That's one that's going to be kind of counter-cyclical to our regular construction timeframe because that'll go to construction when the water is out of the canal. So that'll be a wintertime construction project next year. East Evelyn Avenue Gravity Sewer Line project, we should also be bringing that one for a contract award here in the spring. So be watching for that one. And the Aquifer Storage and Recovery project, it's wrapping up. We're into kind of the testing phase now, and so we should hopefully start pouring water down the hole here in the spring. Let's see, well number 4 controls continue to run into delays from our contractor with Tapani. So we'll continue to wait on that, potentially waiting on that one until the end of this irrigation season. So we're looking at potentially 2 years delayed on that project because of the contractor. Lift station number 5 project is in holding pattern just because of some other projects taking precedence and freeing up design capacity with Anderson Perry. And then lift station number 7, that's the one over on Northwest 11th Street. That one continues to move along, but don't have any anticipated timeline for bringing that forward to council. Our hangar project up at the airport, that project's complete. I think I mentioned that last council meeting.
And then Sherman Park, the bid package is done and they are preparing to send it out to plan centers and get it out to bid, anticipating again an early spring award of that contract. And then the Public Safety Center flooring, cabinetry continuing to get installed. Again, March, April of 2026 for our move-in date. We'd be happy to answer any questions.
Any council questions? Council Roberts?
I'm kind of concerned then, I guess, about lift station number 4, because when we started that project, it was already unreliable and inefficient, I think is what was put in the report. So what are, I guess, what is the holdup from the contractor, and what are we doing to kind of
Yeah,
push it
so
along?
you're referring to well number 4.
I'm sorry, yes, well number 4. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, the contractor forgot to order the controls.
That's a
And
problem.
so that's a problem. Fortunately, we don't have much concern that it's going to go out. So in my 13 and a half years, I've never collected on liquidated damages. There's a lot of drawbacks and challenges associated with collecting on those. So we're continuing to work with the contractor. They've worked well with us on other projects in the past. So we're moving forward just under the assumption that we will refuse any change orders from cost increases. So that's our current plan.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? Okay, perfect. Public comment? Oh, okay. Council comments? All right, can I get a motion to accept the December monthly financial report?
Motion to
moved.
accept.
Second.
Okay, moved by Councilor McCarthy, seconded by Councilor Meyer. Because he got it out faster. Roll call.
Yes.
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 Motion passes unanimously. All right. City committees and liaisons. Anybody have any committee reports? None. Okay. Mayor's report. Last few weeks have been a bit busy. We had the MLK walk, which went extremely well. I saw a significant portion of you folks there participating in that. That was great. We had the first meeting with the LOC president. She chose to choose Hermiston as her first meeting in the public, or meet with the council. So that was, or the members of the
Region 11.
yeah, what she said. So that was great. She chose us first. We had that over at Harkin Rider Center. It was a lot of people. We had even folks all the way from Union and such. So we did our city chat, first city chat for the year. Sounded like there was a lot of participation and a lot of good information out of that. Congratulations, everyone. Finished up with we did our goal setting here just the other day. That was a good session. I think a lot of good came out of it. I'm real happy with everybody. Then we had the fair appreciation dinner was just on Saturday night. Several of us also there in attendance, and lots of the new fair.
Grand Marshals.
No, I was actually looking for no. You guys are all like my wife. You answer my question before you. No, the motto. Slogan. Thank you. Sow
it, grow it, show it.
Sow it, grow it, show it. Thank you. And so nice. Wow, that took forever to get to, didn't it?
When you have to sow a seed and then you have to grow it, and that takes time. And then you.
All right, let's and then so city chat have had several conversations with a lot of folks through social media stuff um, regarding the water rates and such, and I think I was able to answer a lot of questions. And I do encourage anybody that has questions that, and let anybody that's watching, listening know that my email is listed on the city website, and I welcome any emails. I may not get right back to you immediately because I do have a thing or two that I try to get caught up with, but I will answer you. I would much rather have a verbal conversation than an email or text war, because those just don't work out well for me. But I would love to have conversation with anybody just to, give you the best information that I have. If we trust the keyboard warriors, we're not going to get a whole lot accomplished. So, and then finally, and somewhat importantly, Seahawks going to the Super Bowl. So that's my report. Mr. Council President, what you got?
Thank you. I just want to apologize. In my new career, couldn't quite make it out for the second part of the goal setting, but appreciate those of you who were able to catch me up on it. A couple quick things coming up here in the community. Next month on the 7th, swim lesson registration starts at 10 a.m. And then the Hermiston Education Foundation banquet happening also that same day at 5 o'clock. And then, of course, the Chamber has their speed networking luncheon. That was a very successful event they did last year, coming back again this year on the 18th at the community center.
Was that the 7th you said for swim lessons?
7th for swim lessons at 10 a.m. and 5 o'clock p.m. is the Hermiston Ed Foundation banquet.
Okay, council reports. Councilor Hayward.
Just like the mayor said, when you guys have a problem for the community that's listening and stuff, if you have a problem, come to us, come to the city council, get a hold of us, get a hold of the city, let us know. We are open to hear from you. If you don't come and speak, we can't hear what you're saying. We're not mind readers. Feel free to come and talk to us, email us, get a hold of us, let us know how you guys are feeling. Because if you don't, you might not know all the information that we're getting and stuff that we can inform you. Please, I've had numerous conversations over the last couple of weeks with people that are like, I'm afraid to come talk to the city council. I'm afraid to come there. We are all open. You can email us. You can get a response from us, but we do like having meetings in person. So thank you.
Other council comments? Councilor Barone.
Yeah, as was mentioned earlier, we had a Martin Luther King Day march on not last month. It was not this month, last Monday, right? And so it was a good march. I feel like that program keeps getting better and better. So it's a shout out to HCAC for putting on the event and having the whole community there. A lot of great people were there that spoke. So I thought it was a really good event. And it just kind of reminds you kind of in times that are really difficult, like right now, it's really important that we always come together. Also was really excited about our goal setting retreat that we had. A lot of good conversations. Alas, I couldn't make both days, but I was really happy with the results of just being there that first day with everybody, the department heads, hearing where we're at, where we're trying to go, and listing all the accomplishments. Sometimes you forget all the good things that you've done in a year because it just kind of goes by so fast. So it's incredible to think that the library is already constructed from last year. By the end of this year, we're going to have the police department already kind of up and going. So those are just really big projects that are starting to get done. So just a really fun time, I think, just kind of planning of what the city's going to look like for the next few years. So I appreciated the time to hang out with you guys, talk to the department heads and all their expertise, and hear from the city manager on where we're going as a city. Thank you.
Other council comments? Councilor Jerome?
I too want to thank, first of all, the staff that was able to make it and carve out a day and a half to sit with us. I think that we can't make any progress without your guys' help. you know, you get our recommendations, but you guys are the ones that do the work. You guys are the ones that do the research and present us with a bunch of information so that we're able to make decisions for what's best for the community. So I appreciate the work that you guys do on a daily basis. And I think, you know, it's great for us to be able to have the opportunity to sit down. We normally don't talk to one another, you know, only when we come and sit here and that's all we know of each other. But it's really nice to be able to sit with the department heads and, you know, and talk about what has been done and where we want to go in the future. So thank you so much for that opportunity. And later this week, I will be going to Gearhart, Oregon to attend the LOC board meeting there. So happy to be able to do that.
Where is that again?
It's Gearhart, Oregon,
Can
Where?
someone?
by Seaside.
Oh, you mean over on the coast?
I was like, I have no idea where that
Yes.
is.
Yeah,
Why?
I've never been there
North
either.
coast.
Thank you, Roy. I was in the same boat.
Yeah. Take pictures. I'd love to see the city.
Okay, any others? Counselor Kelso.
Yeah, I wanted to echo the sentiments of the other counselors. I appreciated the goal setting session that we had and the good discussions that had and some frank exchanges of views, and I appreciated all of that. I also wanted to mention that I was able to attend the unified basketball game at the high school last week. And I just wanted to praise our community for coming out and supporting those differently abled students. It was heartwarming, a very heartwarming event, and it's just a great time. And I don't think there are any more home games this year, but if you can come out at all next year and watch and cheer them on, I think it would be well worth your time. And it's very edifying to see those kids play and have a great time together. So that's all I wanted to say. Thank you.
Anybody else? No? Ms. Queta, our youth advisory. What you got for us, ma'am?
Hello, my name is Jacqueline Quevedo. I'm a junior at Hermiston High School. It's gonna be really short. Winter isn't very active with the high school. It's usually a lot of catching up with late work last minute. But some activities such as like the unified game, I think you guys should definitely come and support. We do have away games, but we do have a lot of home games next year too, and the years after and whatever. But I think it shows a really good point in our community, also for the youth, that like we're bonding, we're building a community bigger and bigger. Like I cheer, and I think it's so nice seeing everybody just come out and support people that get opportunities to do what they've been wanting. I think it's really nice seeing that, and I think as a youth, it's just more like it's inspiring. It makes me obviously want to like just think of stuff that can help others with opportunities that they thought they would never have. But other to that, it's mostly just sports that have been covering the schedule, a lot of like wrestling, basketball. Uh, but other than that, we've been having a lot of blood drives. February is definitely the month of blood drives too. We have is having a play next month, I think 20th, 22nd. If you guys want to come out and support, I think it'd be really cool to watch. But that's really it. That's been going on.
Okay, well, we appreciate you coming in and keeping us advised. So keep the good information coming, and we appreciate you very much. Mr. City Manager.
Just, I sent you a quick email this afternoon about NLC that's coming up. So anybody who's interested, let us know. We have 2 slots available for being able to attend. And I've gotten a couple emails, but just let me know. We may have to make a decision about where that, yeah, rock, paper, scissors or whatever. So I just sent you the email this afternoon. That's all I have. Thanks.
All right. Unless anybody else has anything for the good order, we are adjourned.